Welcome back. It's so good to see you. So, today we are going to be talking about what I've been watching for the month of September. As usual, I have my notes over here, so you're going to see me look over here for a little bit. Can I just say that I am so glad that September is over? It's like, go away, September, because October, for me, October is like, yes, the holidays are here. Oh my god. And I'm so excited. So I want to show you something before we get into these shows and movies and stuff like that. It is a little craft that my mom bought me for Christmas last year. She actually bought me two. There was a spring themed one and an October themed one. It's like a little craft, and this is a quilting picture type thing. I actually I made a video making the spring one, which was a huge mistake because it took forever. So I decided, nah, I'm not gonna make the October video. But oh my god, I just had to show it to you because it's so cute. Isn't that cute? It's just a little decor. You can just like lean it up against a wall or wherever, but like it's so cool. I really like it. I'm not sure what they're called. It's like quilt wall decor or something like that, and you don't sew it. You have to cut all the pieces out in the right shapes or whatever, but you have to stab the pieces into this styrofoam type shape, and it has the like laser cut of the design, but you have to put each piece in there with this little stabby tool. It's actually quite relaxing when you get to take your time with it, But anyway, I thought I would give it to my mom because I gave her my other one, so that's kind of like a little tabletop decor that she's got, but like she can switch it out for Halloween, right? I don't know. I just thought that was cool. Anyway, okay, so let's get into the shows. I got one more thing to say before we get into it. I am so mad at Hollywood right now because the writer's strike that's been going on since the end of April is still going on. I mean, maybe as of today it stopped or something, I don't know, but it's still going on. And it's like, just give them what they want. Just give them what they want, because they're the ones that create all the awesomeness, right? Without a good script, the actors can't do a good job, and then, you know what I mean? And they're just asking for better pay because their pay has decreased like 29% in the last like 15 years, which is super messed up. And they're asking for royalties and stuff, which they should have. What? Just do it. Just do it, okay? Give them what they want, because I'm running out of stuff to watch here, okay? Alright. So, the first thing that I watched is a series. It's a complete series now, so it's over. You can watch the whole series. It is called Physical, and it is on Apple TV. Rotten Tomato score gave it an 83%. Audience score gave it an 82%. I say that's a fair rating. It stars Rose Byrne and Rory Scovel. There's actually a ton of other actors in there, but okay, before we talk about it, I do want to mention that this show could be triggering, so trigger warning. If you have an eating disorder or body image issues, don't watch this show because it could trigger you hard. But this show is about a 1980s housewife who is struggling with bulimia. She used to do ballet like in high school and college and stuff like that, and that's where it began, and it just stuck with her. And she has a real problem, and you can hear the voice in her head, and it is like, whoa. I think it's probably the most realistic thing I've ever seen, so very triggering. But she discovers aerobics, and she believes that aerobics will save her from her bulimia disease or whatever. I really like the show. It is completely unpredictable, and you know that's like one of my main things. If it's unpredictable and I don't know where it's going, I love it because I hate predictability, you know. But it's a really hard show to watch because there's a lot of just difficult issues, but it's really, really good. I think it is actually kind of funny, and her husband is a piece of work. He's very self-centered, and the world revolves around him, and I don't know. I really, really liked it, and it's centered around her disorder and aerobics and her trying to improve herself sometimes. So, I don't know. I really, really liked it, and I love Rose Byrne. I love her. I think she's amazing. Okay, so the next show that I watched, it was a limited series on Netflix, and it is called Painkiller. Rotten Tomatoes score gave it a 50%. Audience score gave it a 61%. I don't know why. Maybe it touched on topics that people didn't like. I don't know. I thought it was really good. It stars Yuzo Aduba, sorry, Matthew Broderick, and Taylor Kitsch. Again, trigger warning. If you have any drugs or substance abuse problems, maybe don't watch this, because this is a limited series about basically like the origins of the opioid problem in the US. It sounds boring. It really does. It sounds like a documentary or something. No, it's not. It's really good. You get to see how addictions came into play in the US from a prescription drug, Oxycontin. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right, but whatever. You get to see it from the point of view of the creators of Oxycontin, which is insane. You get to see it from the user's point of view. And then you get to see it from the people who have discovered, hey man, this is real bad and we want to stop it. And it's very sad, and it is very hard to watch. Very hard to watch. And it is scary and just heartbreaking and so, so good. And what's his name? Taylor Kitsch. Fantastic actor. He's been in a lot of things. I feel like he is underappreciated or something, or I don't know what you call it, but he's amazing, and I don't think he gets enough recognition as he should. He's fantastic, and in this may be like his best performance I've ever seen. Like it is really, really good, and it's just, like I said, if you have issues with that type of thing or have had it in the past, maybe don't watch it. But it's really, really good, and I think it's totally worth it. And I don't understand the 50 and 61%. Like, what? Very, very good. Okay, the next thing that I watched is a movie, and it is on Disney Plus, and at the time that I watched it, it was also in the theaters. It might be out of theaters by now, but I think it's still in theaters. It's a movie called Elemental. Rotten Tomato score gave it 74%. Audience score gave it 93%. It stars Leah Lewis and Mamoudou Athie. I'm the worst, sorry. And this is a Disney movie. I was very hesitant to watch it because lately Disney movies have just been sucking real bad. Like all of them. But I was like, I don't know, because I like the animated type of stuff, you know. And when I pressed play, here comes the Pixar thing, you know, with the light, and I was like, this is Pixar? Okay, let's keep an open mind, you know. I absolutely loved it. It's not the greatest Pixar movie, but it was so refreshing compared to all of the other Disney stuff that's been coming out that's just sucked. Elemental was great. It is about, okay, so the elements, there's fire, water, land, air. They all are like, I guess, people, but they're elements. So like, and they live in Element City. There's people who live, I guess, like in the country. I don't know what they call the country, but and the main part is like this fire guy. I don't know what his name is. I don't know what his name is. This fire guy and his wife, they leave the country or whatever, and they move to the city, and they live in, I don't know the names, but it's like Firetown, but it's much more imaginative than that, you know. And they have a daughter, and her name is Ember Lumen, and they raise her to run this fire store, you know, in town. And she has an anger issue. When she gets angry, she gets hot, you know. But she's constantly wanting to take over, and her dad's like, you are not ready, you know, because she can't handle customers and stuff like that. But he gives her a chance to work this one sale. I know this sounds stupid and boring, but it's really not. And she starts to get really angry, and she's like, I'll be right back, because if she does good during this one sale, he'll hand over the business to her. So she goes down to the basement, and she literally explodes with fire, you know, and one of the pipes break, and there's water that comes in and floods, and so she like uses her heat to like solder, is that the right word, but like heat seal the pipe, and that causes another whatever, and all this water comes in and starts flooding. Well, there was a city water inspector named Wade Ripple, who is water, and he was inspecting the pipes, and when the pipes burst, he showed up in her basement of the business, and he's like, oh, I'm gonna have to write you tickets because none of this is up to code, you know. And it's about, it kind of feels Zootopia-ish, like it, you know how when the rabbit goes to the big town, Zootopia, and like all the animals are kind of just like separate, and like, I don't know, it's kind of like that. Like water and fire don't mix, land, fire, like it's almost like a race thing, you know. But fire and water learn to work together, and then they become friends, and they're like, hey, you're not so bad, and like, you know. But it's very like, she doesn't want her parents to find out because he's a water, you know, and like, I don't know. I thought it was really cute, and it was really good. And oh, my phone just vibrated. I'm sorry. I thought I put it on super shut up. No, I didn't. I put it on vibrate, so now it's on silent. Sorry. But typical Pixar style. I literally almost cried. And I was like, how can this happen? Like, it got so intense. I was glued to the TV. I didn't even watch it with the kids. I watched it by myself. I was glued to the TV, and something happens at the end where you're just like, oh my God. And it was like soul crushing. And I literally, like, my eyes were watering, and I was like, I'm not gonna cry. I'm not gonna cry. But I'm like, I had to fight crying really hard. And it was just so good. But then there is a happy ending. But you know, Pixar's gotta make you cry. That's just what they do. They gotta make you cry. I don't know. It was really good though. Again, it's not the best Pixar movie, but it's totally worth watching. And I am gonna watch it again because I'm gonna make my kids watch it. Okay, the next movie that I watched was on Netflix, and it's called Love at First Sight. Rotten Tomato score gave it a 75. Audience score gave it an 80. I really liked it. Like I said, I've been running out of things to watch, so I'm watching things that I normally wouldn't watch. And normally I would not ever watch this because it's like a romantic comedy, and I'm like, gross. It stars Haley Lou Richardson, which is why I was like, yes, I'm gonna watch it. She was in the last season of White Lotus. She was fantastic, and I love her. She's the whole reason that I was like, okay, I'll give this a chance. And then it also stars Ben Harding. Never heard of him. I liked him. At first I was like, I don't know about this guy. At the end I liked him. It is a romantic comedy. It's a love story, all sappy and gross, okay? But it really wasn't gross because of Haley Lou Richardson. She's like, if you've seen her in White Lotus, she's kind of the same in this. So she misses a flight. She's late to her dad's wedding. And so she has to be on standby and wait for the next plane. And her cell phone is about to die, and she's like looking for a charger port or whatever. And this guy, he's like, oh, you can use this one. And I don't know, she says something like, oh, I don't like sharing charger ports until at least the third date, you know, something stupid. Or maybe he says that, I don't know. Anyway, it was just, at first it was cheesy, but then it was like really good. And there's this other woman, and I can't think of where she's from or what her name is. The Good Place. There's a show called The Good Place, and she's like, they're like, I'm a supermodel type chick in that. I'm really pissed that I can't think of her name, but whatever. Anyway, she's in it, and she's the narrator, and she's talking about their meet cute, you know, and she's also random characters throughout the whole film, but they don't even like see her. She, like, in real life, you'd be like, didn't I just see you here? But it's like they don't even notice her, you know. She's wearing different clothes. She must be a different person, right? I don't know. It was really cute, but like the girl is very like, oh my God, love is gross, yuck, and the boy is very statistics. Like, he goes to school for studying like odds and statistics and calculating numbers and stuff like that. And then the host is talking about fate and destiny and what are the odds of this happening and this happening and this happening. And yeah, it's predictable. You don't know how it's going to get there, but you want it to get there, you know. I honestly think that this movie, Love at First Sight, is a classic romantic movie in the making. Like The Notebook kind of thing, you know. Like, it's really good. I don't know, I liked it. It made my heart happy, you know. So okay, enough of the gross love stuff. We're done with that. The next show that I watched, I am still watching, and I'm going to continue watching it until it goes away. It is a show that's on Reels, but it's also on Peacock. I watch it on Peacock, and it is called On Patrol Live. There's no Rotten Tomato score. I don't know why. There just isn't. So there's an IMDb score, and it's 9 out of 10. So it's pretty good. If you liked the show Cops, you are gonna like On Patrol Live. It's different. It's definitely different. There was a show that was very similar to On Patrol Live called Live PD or something like that. I've never seen Live PD. It was a show on like A&E. I've never seen it, but it apparently is basically like a shot-for-shot remake. It even has the same host, but it's on a different network. But after 2020 and the whole, stuff happened, they canceled Cops, and apparently they canceled Live PD for reasons. But if you like Cops, you're gonna like this show because it follows cops. But I think the show is better than Cops, okay? Because you get to know the cops. There is a host, and there are 2 retired police officers that are in the studio, and they are live every Friday and Saturday night in 50 different, in 7 or 8 different departments around the country, and they have 50 cameras following all those different departments. So since it's live, you get to see, well, is there action here tonight or here or whatever, and if crazy stuff goes down after that happens, the cop will explain to the camera, this is what's going on, blah, blah, blah. And then they go into the studio, and the 2 retired cops are like, okay, this is why they had to do this and why they had to do that. So I understand, because of everything that's happened in the past, why they need the people in studio to explain it in depth, why certain things and what certain laws are, which is really kind of cool. Except I hate the hosts. I hate them, really, because they're like so cheesy and just stupid. But I love the cops. The reason that I like this show is because you get used to the cops. And there are certain cops that I just really like. But I can't remember anybody's name, like, ever. Even in shows that I watch for years, I'm like, this chick or that chick or the one that has red hair. Like, I can never remember names. Except The Office, because I've watched it like 27 times. But anyway, so I have my own names for them. There is a detective, I think, not detective, Corporal. I think she's Corporal Carly Drayton. I think that's her name. The only reason that I know her name is because I call her best friend, because she's the best cop and I love her. So she's my best friend. So every time I see her, I'm like, ooh, it's my best friend. And then there is Deputy Duncan, and I call him Deputy Duncan because, like, in the second episode, there was like, I think there was like, he's in Florida, and there was like a car show or something like that, and he's really into cars, but he had to pull this one, like, vehicle over for turning without signaling or something like that, and he was really cool, and he was like, okay, I'm just gonna give you a warning, let me go back to the car and write this up, so he goes to his car, writes it up, and then he goes back, and they're like, hey man, we just stopped by and picked up some donuts, do you want some? And he looked at them, smiled, and then looked at the camera, and then looked back, and he was like, yeah, I want one, but don't tell anybody. And then he walks back, and he's eating the donut, and he's like, let me make this clear, this wasn't a trade situation, I gave them the warning, and then they offered me the donut. And then he just walked off eating the donut. Oh my god, it was so hilarious. So forever he is Deputy Duncan. And then there is Blinky. I like Blinky. He's really nice and fair and stuff, but I call him Blinky because, like, sometimes it's really hard for me to focus because he blinks one eye at a time. And it's not like a weird, it might be a weird tick or something, but he never blinks like that. He always, like, what? It's so strange. But every time I'm like, ooh, it's Blinky. I don't know. I just really like him. And then there is Sergeant Sex Machine. I did not name him. My husband did. Because Sergeant Sex Machine and Best Friend were in studio one time because they were like the field favorites. Like, people wrote in, they were like, we really like them, and they work together a lot. And I kind of think that Best Friend and Sergeant Sex Machine got something going on the side, but they say that they're just friends, but they go out to dinner and they watch movies and like blah blah blah. I'm like, whatever, they're totally doing it. But when they were in studio, they had people like text in questions for them. There were no questions for Best Friend, only Sergeant Sex Machine. And they were very directed, like, does he have a girlfriend? Is he single? What is his type? What dating apps are he on? Like, and it's just because this guy's cute. He's not like sexy or anything, but he's just cute and he's sweet. Like, whenever he's out in the field, if he interacts with somebody who needs help with their car, he talks to the camera and he's like, I'm trying to learn more about car stuff so I can help more people. And then when he talks to people who speak Spanish, Best Friend speaks Spanish, so he always calls her and he's like, hey, come help me, you know, because he doesn't speak Spanish. So she's teaching him Spanish on the side. Anyway, so he's always learning stuff. I used to call him Learny, but now he is Sergeant Sex Machine. And then in Nevada, there are my two favorites, which is Baby Boy, and he's a full-grown man, but I call him Baby Boy because there's also a detective or deputy dad, because his dad works and his son works, so they both work in the same department, so it's Baby Boy and deputy dad, you know. I really, really like it. It's like my new background thing. It used to be The Office in the background, but I miss Cops. Like, I loved Cops so much, and I miss it, and this is a great replacement for it, and it's even better because you get to really know the cops out there, and it's really cool. I like it. Okay, the last thing that I watched was actually 4 things. They're all comedy specials by a man named Nate Bargatze. Some of them there are 2 on Amazon and 2 on Netflix. I'm not sure which ones are on what. And then you can also find him on YouTube. But the titles are Full-Time Magic. Awesome. Then we have the Tennessee Kid. Awesome. We have The Greatest Average American, and his latest, Hello World. Some of them have Rotten Tomato scores, some of them don't. The Tennessee Kid, no Rotten Tomato score. Audience score is 91%. And Hello World, no Rotten Tomato score, but the audience score is 98%. I absolutely love this guy. Like, Ricky Gervais is my favorite comedian of all time. But then I found this guy, Nate Bargatze. He's been around for 20 years and I've never heard of him. What? This guy is so funny. I even found some old stuff from like way back in the day on YouTube, and it's hilarious. Like, each one of these specials, it had me and my husband laughing so hard that we had to pause it because we were crying. We couldn't see, we couldn't hear, like our stomachs hurt because we were laughing so hard. Every joke that this guy says was a freaking hit. Because you know how like some specials are like, it's not as good as the other? No. every special is as good as the one before it and the one before that. He is fantastic, and what's good about it is if you want clean humor, you got this guy, Ricky Gervais. That ain't clean humor. I don't mind it. I like dark humor a lot. But this guy, I could watch it with my kids if I wanted to. They wouldn't understand half of the stuff, and they probably wouldn't think it's funny because it's more about life as an adult and how stupid he is, and just a lot of people can relate to this man. Okay, it's just it's amazing. It is absolutely amazing, and I am just shocked that I have never heard of him before. Like, who is this guy? Do you know about Nate Bargatze? Oh, he's fantastic. And I'm like, this guy, he needs his own, like, show, or he needs to be in movies or something. Like, he needs to get out there more. And he even jokes about it in his specials and stuff. He's like, nobody knows who I am, but like, how can they not? Because he's fantastic. But it's right. Like, I would, if I were to see him walking down the street, I would have no idea who he was until now. And if I were to see him, I'd be like, oh my god. Like, he's just, I am a huge fan of him now, and I'm like, can he do more things? Because it's amazing. Anyway, so yeah, that is all of the stuff that I watched for the month of September. I cannot wait to see what's coming out in October. I don't even know. Like, is there even gonna be stuff coming out in October? Stupid strike. Anyway, I really hope that you enjoyed that. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you soon.